What's happening, folks? Welcome to another edition of the Everyday People Podcast, the Married Men Edition. Fellas, ladies, rain check. So, we back at it with another episode. We're glad to have you tonight. Looking forward to just, chatting and seeing how the night goes. Tonight, my lovely wife has the opportunity to sit in with us and just talk a little bit and share about her experience about being a pastor's wife. And, just giving her an opportunity to talk and, talk about her experiences and just the same and similar to what we've done with everybody else. It's just my turn this week. And then I'm going to step aside and let Kayam conduct the questioning so that we can just have a chance to be interviewed and go forward like that. But once again, we're here with the brothers, Elle, Kayam, and Kevin. We got some more content to share with y'all. Hopefully y'all have fun with what we're sharing. Hopefully get informed. But most importantly, I got to keep making sure that I put this out there. Repent. Get your act together. Learn who Jesus Christ is. Get a relationship with him. Get into a church that educates you in scripture, helps you to strengthen your relationship so that you can know who the Savior is in these last and evil days. That is my public service announcement. But we're going to get into the episode. Kayam, I'm going to turn it on over to you so you can get ready to, go in the direction you want to take it in. I'm ready. We ready. We ready over here. We ready.
All right. So I'll just go ahead and start it off by just saying this woman right here is my mom. And this is my stepfather, Charles. It's just been interesting to see how far my mom has become just over the years. Just her taking care of me as I was little, and just to see who you are now is very interesting because I'm also growing up with you. So I just think it's cool to see that. So I just want to start out by asking, since you watched the episodes, right?
Yes.
All right. What is your take on the episodes that you have seen? Whether it's all of them or just anything, what is your take on how Charles, your husband, is doing?
Oh, I think he's doing a great job. I am enjoying. I'm enjoying listening to his uninterrupted perspective on things. Sometimes guys don't get to get their full sentences or paragraphs out. So I just feel like I'm getting to be a fly on the wall, listening to you guys' conversations and really getting to see your perspective, his perspective on our relationship, on being a family man, and also, hearing what all of you guys have to say. I'm feeling truly blessed right now. This is my husband, but you are my son, you are my son-in-law, and this is my brother-in-law, and it is wonderful to see these young men out here really walking with the Lord day by day in everyday situations, and it's a beautiful thing. They're serving the Lord, and I just feel really blessed to get to witness it all.
Awesome. So then, how do you feel about hearing her say that?
It's just so nice. This is so wonderful. When we all do this. First and foremost, us men, we got purpose. And we don't seek applause, but the people that you choose to be around you, when they are in agreement with what you're doing, it makes it nice.
Yeah.
And so, y'all knowing I've been on this ministry journey for quite a while, and definitely dated a couple other folks that it wasn't quite the fit, but just
Kevin, you ignorant.
Those has been on that journey with me, but just coming across the one that had the right temperament, right attitude, the right mental acumen. Let me just put it like that. It's just nice to see that for anything that I want to do that has to do with the Lord's business, she's ready and willing to support me anyway, and that is beautiful. So I appreciate her feedback. I appreciate how she is my biggest supporter, not only in just words but in deeds. And so, anytime that I'm doing something, I know that she's got my back, and I truly, truly, truly appreciate that.
And how long have y'all been married?
4 years.
It'll be 5 in April. 5 in April.
Time sure does fly.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Time sure does fly.
Come on, keep going.
Well, I
Come
mean, I think I have another question because you brought up, just kind of just being that family man. And so you are my stepdad, and
Joe.
and you have an interesting predicament. Because most marriages, they come in as I'm your husband, you're my wife, and we are supposed to have kids together and grow from there. You didn't get really a chance to do that. You kind of have chosen a woman who's got 4 kids in already.
He inherited
4 kids.
he inherited.
So, how was that like for you? And then, Mom, if you want to respond after he says what he says.
So, I'm a real believer in understanding why the Lord places together whom He does. Because it's not no secret for the people that are around and know our story. At a very young age, I was asked to participate more so than being just a big brother for my siblings. And the amount, I don't begrudge or, look at that as a negative thing, but all of that stuff that I probably would have had to have done at a later time in life, it was gone. And so I looked at it as if I had already raised my kids. And just, there was for a short amount of time in my 20s where I really entertained the idea of doing it if, the situation came about. But then I hit an age where I was just like, I don't want it. I don't want it. And I kind of flip-flop back and forth, but then the last time I said I didn't want it, it never changed again. And, knowing her situation, it was a combination of things that happened collectively. Not to name call or to bash anybody, but just each time I dated, each situation got aggressively more worse.
Man.
And so by the time I got to where I was with that last situation, I was like, you mature, you grow, and I knew what was more important as to what I needed opposed to what I thought I wanted. And so, we talked about this in the past. Had we run into each other earlier, we probably would have missed each other, just based on where we was mentally at the time. And so by having gone through what I did, I was definitely able to appreciate her more and see her worth, see her value, and see how much of a blessing she has been to me, the church, and my family. And so I honestly feel like outside of Jesus, she's the best decision I've ever made.
Turn up. Man, talk your stuff.
That's the correct answer. After hearing all of that, Ma, how does that resonate with you?
Oh, it makes my heart full, for sure. As Charles said, I had some maturity with me this time around when I was not really dating, but when Charles came along. It was imperative to me to have good examples for you guys. I definitely was looking for something that mattered more, that had more everlasting value. Charles came along, and before we even dated, I got to observe him, and he was good to everyone. He was even. you know. So that was important. It was very impressive. And when he decides to care for someone, he does it wholeheartedly, and I got to see that. So just knowing that he opened up his heart and included all of us, all of us, it definitely gives me a sense of appreciation for him, for sure. It was good because we got to be friends first. I got to know him as the person that he is, and he opened up more and more over time. And in our marriage, still doing so. I'm still learning about this man right here. So it gets better and better for me. It really does.
I definitely got a question. So,
Bring it on.
since I guess the central theme, at least for the past couple of weeks, has been kind of gauging everybody's relationship, their dynamic.
Okay.
But him and Cheyenne is two peas in the pod. You can't go nowhere without the other one. You got to see both of them. They are like the team of the year. Kevin and Imani. Kevin, he laid back, he's quiet, soft spoken. Imani, she's the one. She gotta be out there. The center of attention sometimes. My bad. Center of attention sometimes. You know what I mean? That's just how she is. She got a big personality. Me and Kiara is the super bubbly one, and she's always in a good mood, always just so happy. And then everybody's got this perception of me. I'm just, but
Not perception, that's true.
So what is if you could put it in words? What is y'all's dynamic like? How do y'all see each other?
Oh, he's definitely the even keel. Make sure everything stays steady and smooth and going along. The rational, reasonable one. I would say I'm more guided by my feelings for the moment.
Oh man.
I try to focus on my good feelings, and just really monitor my mental space. But get me in a room, and I'm like right now, I'm happy, and I'll go with that. And I'm just all the way up here, till I wear myself out pretty much. But he's still there. So I think as far as our temperaments are concerned, I would say that's good.
I would say she's definitely right. And we joke about this, if I could just make an example, let's just say, I'm like, hey, let's go take a trip. And her impulse would be like, I would say, where do you want to go? With that excitement that she's talking about, let's just shoot for the stars. I would say, no, let's actually type in the address and figure out where we're going.
Right.
And so, our dynamic, what I most appreciate about us, even when we have disagreements, it's never anything negative. It's always about, are we giving too much? Are we giving too little? It's always about something positive. And so that is such a major difference from anything I've ever encountered. The typical toxic stuff that everybody else goes through, we don't have any of that. So it's always about, are we spending too much time giving? Are we spending too much time helping? Or are we spending too much time doing this? And it's just, sometimes I have to sit back and just smile at the issues that we have comparatively. And so even with being able to say that I'm still very much blessed, but just within our dynamic, I don't mind being the buttoned up conservative. Not saying my wife isn't, but as men, we understand that our wives get to occupy the space that we don't. And so, because I'm so buttoned up, it gives her a chance to just fly a little bit. Because she had to be so buttoned up with y'all for so long. And now that she's getting to have a partner that's kind of the watcher, she gets to roam a little bit and just get to explore and try new things. And she's more or less right now, she's in her phase like Neo when he first got found, and he's like, my eyes hurt. He's like, well, you've never used them before. That's where she's at right now. And so, like the baby, I'm just kind of, no. I'm kind of just letting her wear herself out with all these new ideas, and just not letting her bump her head or nothing, but just, letting her see things in this new light of being a wife and all this stuff. And, listeners, if you want a bag of pastor, this is the woman that you need to talk to. Talk to her. She can probably teach you a few things.
She done skipped ahead a couple steps.
Here you go.
My bad.
Write a book. Write a book.
Yeah, we got two authors at this table. They could probably.
Yeah, Kyle, you bestseller, ain't you?
Listen,
Right.
that's my wife. That's my wife.
The two wives, they could write something in tandem.
Yeah.
They could definitely make some scratch
Go on.
off of it. But
Charles ain't never
she's.
got to work another day in his life.
Right.
I love the fact, that she has worked so hard for so long, and that she gets to have a little room to explore, as the house has gotten more empty. And she has a lot of passions. She's got a lot of passions. She's got a lot of passions. Just trying to. I feel bad sometimes because I'm so nonchalant, even keeled. She'll just be glowing, big bright eyes, bright face, just so excited. I'm just like, I'm not interested in this at all, but I'm listening.
I promise I am.
And I really am. I'm
Yeah.
really listening. I just feel bad because I can't get that excited about some of that stuff. And in our relationship, I really try to exercise self-awareness, because I know that there's folks that will have moments where their spouse is talking to them and they show no interest. But then when it's something important to them, they want their spouse to be hyped up for them. It's like, well, I know the things that I like: football, sports, Marvel, anime. Just a little bit. But I'm not gonna go nuts because I know that she don't care. It's only, so I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna expect her to do what I'm not doing for her.
Right.
So I try to be extremely considerate and self-aware, and we make it work.
Brother, we got any questions?
Yeah, brother Law.
What have you observed with your brother? Like, watching your brother come up in the same house as you. As he said, he practically raised you, but that was still big bro.
Yeah.
You just seen him, have maybe high school girlfriends, go to prom, do his thing, whatever.
Yeah.
So when he got married, how did on the outside looking in, how did you feel about it? What did you see?
Good question. Truly, because yes, I have seen a fair amount of his relationships in the past and how things worked and how they didn't. So obviously, we obviously big brother, little brother, a dad-son dynamic too. We always were able to have these talks, and he would let me know about certain things and how he was feeling about whatever might have been going on in that relationship, and I would say, okay, now I can kind of get that built in the back of my head. Okay, yeah, this ain't gonna last too much longer. How much longer is it gonna be? Or so okay, this can draw out a little bit longer, and then something can happen. Like, okay, yep, here we go. But yeah, by the time he, when him and Natasha finally started to chat, it was actually around the same time me and Imani actually started talking as well. So once I really got to see Natasha, for myself, just to see, I was like, okay, I can tell she is very kind-hearted, very genuine about whatever it is that she likes. And as more times gone by and seeing this out, she loves children, loves the Lord, everything like that, and just seeing their dynamic, the way she looks at him, the way he looked at her, I was like, this is it.
Right.
This is it.
He ain't going nowhere.
No, this will be it. Now the question was, when is this gonna be official? When is it gonna be locked down?
Right.
So, you know, sometime that went by, and, you know, when it finally did happen, I was able to be, you know, had a front row seat to see the proposal and everything. It was just a beautiful, beautiful sight.
I took y'all with me.
To go ring shopping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it was just great to see. And I can't imagine him being in, you know, with anybody else or even any happier than he has been.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful.
So was there ever a time in, you know, Charles's previous relationships, just mentioning everything you just said, and you just kind of just observed the people like, yeah, you ain't about to last, bro.
Yeah.
Like, don't even entertain this. Like, you have no business.
Yeah, definitely. You know, again, and we all have them.
Yeah.
We all have them. It's like, okay, it's like, hey, what you doing? What are you doing right now? Like, you know, we just having fun. All right. All right. Keep it there though.
Right.
Don't take it no further than that. Just keep it right there. So it's like, yeah, let's go get a little more serious. Why? You know, so that just comes with anybody. We all have those phases. We gotta weed out all that nonsense before we can really see what the true, you know, what it should be.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's cool. Kyle, you got any more questions you would like to add? You did mention something about the verse, didn't you?
Yes, so I don't know how many of you are aware. We are also doing Bible study Wednesdays on Facebook as well, so go ahead and tune in for that. But the topic about it so far has been about Proverbs 31. And it's really about being a wife as like a noble character, just having noble characteristics as a wife. So I know you've also have been tuning in for those as well. So after listening your husband talk about it and just reading it on your own, what verses have you picked up or anything that you're learning so far that you feel that's just very inspirational or just that kind of made you turn your head a little bit or some sort of feelings that has been going on in Proverbs?
Before you answer, most of the time, when I'm getting ready to teach, she's either on the other side of the camera or she's in the kitchen cooking. Now talk.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to get to. So I have enjoyed listening to my husband's anointed take on Proverbs 31. I love the fact, you know, ladies, that this is talking about being a wife to a king. And I know, if you know like I know, that our man, my man, is my king in my household.
She said, my man.
So I'm not gonna, you know, there's obviously some things that I have to work on in those verses. I'm thankful for that though, because I always want the Holy Spirit's correction when it comes down to learning His Word and me trying to grow in the kingdom of God and be the woman that He wants me to be. And as He has blessed me with the husband, the wife that I need to be, the godly wife that I need to be. So yeah, I had some gut punches. Yeah, this was first of all, I enjoyed listening to how passionate my husband felt about getting us to, you know, line up with what the Word says about this here. He may have observed some things that made him get fired up, but you know, we all try our best and we can continue to grow. For me, a gut punch was honestly verse 15. I have it here in front of me because, you know, I can remember it by heart, but and I'm in the Passion Translation. It says, even in the night season, she arises and sets food on the table for hungry ones in her house and for others. She sets her heart upon a field and takes it as her own. So this really talks about, so, you know, we all want our husbands to be the provider. We want him to be the protector. So this, once the provisions are made, this is our part. You know, this is one of the pieces that really had me wonder, as a priority, it is our responsibility to make sure our family is healthy and well fed. So for me, just with the times being what they are, things can change. We have a lot of modern conveniences, and there are a lot of things that I don't know how to do. Like, okay, Schwabels might not always be around. So it made me question, we lost, I feel like, I'll talk about myself, but I feel like I'm not alone in this boat, that sometimes I have lost the skills that my grandmother had, that her mother before her had, where they can go to a field, pick what they need to make the bread, make wheat into flour to make the bread. I mean, there's so many steps that we have lost. And the same thing, planting gardens and, having food grow or raising food. Things that really should be a priority to us. And what I liked about Proverbs 31, it made me rethink the priorities of my time and my skill set. I grew up in a household where education was really the main focus. Make sure you get a good job. You don't have to be in the kitchen. And I was like, sounded good to me at the time, but now I think that we have to go back to if we went back to the basics, that's a basic skill that I want to make sure I increase and want to know more about. So that was my little gut punch. I was like, okay, if I can't get if a grocery store went away, how would I feed my family? And the other part is, she sets her heart upon a field, and takes it as her own. But my husband was explaining that speaks about how we manage our resources. And the thing that he said, the dollars that we have, we should be looking at them and say, before we spend them, my clothes or, nails and hair, how is this dollar that I'm spending going to benefit my family? Woo! That one made me sit still for about 3 whole days. I had to rethink some things, and so again, so I'm listening. I am definitely paying attention. I am, examining myself to try to become more like this woman here. So Proverbs 31, I've definitely been tuning in. Those were just a couple of the pieces that really made me take pause, because that's some real true lifestyle changes for me.
So how has it been, this process, this 4 years y'all have been on this journey? How has it been filling in the role and sustaining the role of a pastor's wife? Because everybody at this table wife has a little bit different role. His wife, he's a deacon, so she got to roll with him a certain way. His wife and my wife, we both musicians, so they got to roll with us a certain way. So you got probably the most important job out of just about everybody over here, because of just the simple fact of what he does, because he cares for so many different people and he's responsible for so many different people. So how do you tag along with him and keep the ship going?
I'll say, just like you guys as wives, I don't think there's a more important anything about it. I just so happen to be a woman who fell in love with a man who was called to preach God's word. That's the extent of that. And like any other wife, I'm trying to be a helpmate to him. And like Charles said, I also believe that the Lord brings together who he will. And so being his wife, that piece, he definitely makes it easy on me. He's very, very fair, very lovable, and very kind, tender. So that helps me, because I can get from him what I need. And so when it comes down to serving a community, serving his church, church members, the obligations that he has scheduled, the ones that pop up, because that will happen.
Yeah.
You have plans, you feel like, oh no, that's changing. It's easier to go with the flow because he can. So I try to follow suit with him with these things. I try to be kind the way he is. I try to be even the way he is. I'm learning a lot from him about how to be his wife. Now, if there was a pastor's wife training, I sure would sign up. It was, like I said, it was, I don't want to say a surprise because I know he's preaching, but I don't think I had an idea of really what it was until I was in those shoes. And so I've been learning for the past 4 years, and I believe we have a gracious congregation because everybody's been very patient with me. very kind and welcoming. I appreciate the hot seats I got in, the fires that the ladies at the church. Listen, that's important.
Yeah.
You know, we got to remember that, you know, there's work to be done, and you got to be prepared. He's going to make sure we're prepared any way that he can. So
Gotcha.
I definitely appreciate that as well.
Gotcha. Charles, I got a question for you. So, you became a pastor at a very young age. Well, you started off as a minister. Then, you know, you officially got the reins handed to you, what, in your early 30s?
It was 31.
So, in your early
31,
30s,
Yeah.
you're basically given the reins of this church. And like I said before, you're responsible for so many people. How are you able to balance church, your life at home, your work life, whatever, and your marriage?
Because I had been a minister at such a young age, I had that part down. It had almost become a thing to where how you guys were talking about last week, where you had mentioned your wife was saying, I want Deacon Kayam opposed to, and you're trying to figure out how to blend the two together. I had that part down. I'd had so many years of practice in that part was down. Now adding a wife into the mix to where, you know, in scripture, Paul talks about how for those that can abstain, you need to get married, but also understand that if you're married, you're not going to be all the way concerned about the Lord's work. You're going to be worried about your wife. And so I wasn't going to be able to just burn. So there are weeks when just trying to juggle all of the different things I do better at. There are some weeks where you have so many just different things that you are juggling. You're paralyzed by analyzing what's happening. Every week's not a W. Some weeks you fall short with stuff. Some weeks you forget that you told somebody that you were going to do this or call them or just whatever. But I also appreciate how patient folks have been with me, and I understand that for a lot of them, because everybody's issues or life doesn't happen at the same time for everybody. So somebody might need or have more attention that they need for about a month or two, and then, you know, they don't need nothing else for the rest of the year. And another person, they might not need nothing at the beginning of the year, but then towards the holidays, they need you. And so, and then there'll be something where multiple people need you. And so I learned early with my job, if I can help it, I don't take no time off, period. Not for myself, no vacations, no nothing, just so that I can be there for funerals, hospitals, whatever. Somebody dies and they want me there to be around it. I try to just be available for everybody. And then just within our marriage, that probably has taken a hit because we really haven't, aside from the honeymoon, we really haven't gotten away or done anything just yet. So as things change, because we've definitely, you know, since Kayam's come on and taken more responsibility, as we get things more in place, I'm looking to take a more of a hands-off approach in some areas so that I can have a little bit more of a balance. But as it goes right now, my wife will let you know, the latest that I will sleep in, that I consider sleeping in, is 7 o'clock. And then most of the time I don't even get to that. Sleeping in for me is like 6 in the morning. So the only day during the week I'm not doing anything, and that's a if, is maybe Saturday. Every other day we're doing something. So whether it's church related, household stuff related, job related, you're always going to be doing something. And you know, the same way I think that because I've built up equity with folks, they do give me some grace when I fall flat. It's like, so you got all this energy for me, but where was this at when you came to my house, knocked on the door, you needed all this help? So just chill out.
Right.
Chill out.
Right.
They don't see that in the moment, and I try not to throw stuff in folks' face. But I'm like, when it's you want grace, but then when it's me, you want justice. And I need you to just give me the same energy that you would expect me to give to you. So just trying to balance everything out. Like long answer short. Some weeks you win, some weeks you lose, but you live.
Live to fight another day. And I honestly think you got tougher shoes to fill because just like you said, people expect you just to be there 100% of the time, no questions asked. And I think people really have an unrealistic view on how pastors should be. And I'm pretty sure that takes a mental toll because at the same time, you trying to be there for everybody. Then you got work stuff. Then you got your own wife to think about. Then you got your own personal issues or health things to think about. And it's like other people don't got time for none of that. I need you to help fix my problem. And to me, I my hat's off to you because even with the little bit of responsibility I have, and I got a couple people looked at me for advice or whatever I can offer them, and I'm trying to balance my own life. That's stressful to me, and I can only imagine what it's like dealing with probably close to hundreds of people that may not even go to your church, but they still calling you asking for help.
Yeah.
And they don't replicate the same attitude towards you. So I my hat's off to you for that. You're definitely a different breed of human because, in my opinion, you still a young dude. You still got a lot of your life to live, but you already have so much responsibility.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be taken lightly at all. At all.
I appreciate that. I think that even with the pastors that they do this quote unquote full time and they don't have a secular job, if that is you, understand that the people want even more of your time because you're available.
Yeah.
You have no excuses then.
Yeah.
But like I said, I try. So as I've gotten a little bit older, my energy's a little bit different, compared to when I was in my early 20s. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all folks. When the seasons start to change, it gets later in the year and it starts getting dark around 6 o'clock. I'm in the house. I'm not going nowhere. Y'all ain't like that. Y'all have plans. Stuff don't start till 8, 9 o'clock. You're good. It starts getting dark outside. I'm in the house for the night. I'm fine.
Ain't nobody going nowhere.
But just as stuff comes up for folks, I'll get phone calls. They'll want answers. I'll get texts. They'll want answers. Just the whole gamut of just whatever folks may need. I try to be available. I try. I understand. Just through the many years of talking to Pastor Holloway and just the collection of friends that are in ministry that I've met along the way. Everybody has in their own mind their picture of what a pastor is supposed to look like.
Right.
And everybody's picture is some folks have the utmost respect, reverence. I got to take care of this man. And then for them folks, it's easy to deal with them. But then you got the other folks, it's just like, they just want money. And I don't know how I feel about them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get everything in between. And I think that, as I was mentioning on last week's episode, the one thing that has helped me within this calling, yes, it is a calling. He called me when I was about 11. I ran for a long time. But then he finally created a situation to where I didn't even know that I was leaning into him until I was like, oh, he's like, I got you. But he's given me a skill set to where I'm able to see people's heart. I'm able to see their sincere feelings about something, no matter what they're speaking to me. And then I just have to decide, am I still going to be kind to them or am I not? And so I think for me, because he knows me, one of the things that I mentioned to my wife, it's like, one of the things I told her early in our relationship, don't volunteer me for nothing. Don't. Ask me. Let's talk about it. Don't volunteer me for nothing. I don't want to be surprised. I want to be able to just be prepared. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the Lord knows this about me because it takes me a minute to just, process the audible and figure out what the new play is.
Right.
I got to figure out my attitude, all of that stuff. And so the Lord's like, I think I need to just make sure that he's prepared before he starts to talk to so-and-so so he can be the most effective. And so he's made sure and has given me this ability to where no matter what you are showing me in your face, I look you eye to eye and I ask you, are you okay? And you tell me that you are, I already know the truth before you even though that's what you're telling me, I know what the truth is. And so by having that, I know what to pray for folks. When I get away from large groups of people and I have that one-on-one conversation, I know what to ask them. I know how to just kind of cut through all the BS and we can have a real conversation. And so the whole Spider-Man Uncle Ben line, great power
Come great responsibility.
And it's the truth. It's the truth. And so, I just kind of take it for what it is. And I thoroughly understand that this is a thankless job. I'm not looking for my applause on this side anyway. I understand that in a lot of instances, priests, ministers are looked at like referees in a ball game. As long as you're doing your job, we don't even see you. Second you make a bad call, and so I gotta be invisible so that people see the Lord. And that's my job. I be decreased so that he can be increased. That's my gig.
Anybody got any more questions?
I mean, you touched on a point. You were reading verses 15 and 16. And I'm going to read it again. Even in the night season, she arises and set food on the table for hungry ones in her house and for others. She sets her heart upon a field and takes it as her own. She labors there to plants the living vines. Back in 15, even in the night season, she arises and set foods on the table. You gave your portion of it. Men, how do we feel our wives stack up to that part about it? Just 15 and 16 as a whole, how do you feel? Anyone want to start?
Missing them meals over here. Eating good.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing here. I know at least from my wife, she has her phases when she's doing a lot, and she might not be able to cook for me every night. I don't trip about that because I understand she got a lot to do. Like right now, she's in school. She's working and she's going to school. I'm not really expecting her to do a whole lot outside of that because that's stressful. That's very time consuming. She may not have energy to do anything. By the time she's really good decompress and chill out, it's almost 10 o'clock in the evening. So, stuff like that don't necessarily bother me because I know times before I was getting home cooked meals every day or I was getting something every day. Right now, she's just doing her thing, getting her stuff together. When she's getting done with that, we straight again. Like same thing when we was wedding planning. We couldn't really do what we wanted to do because we had to use all that money to go towards the wedding. Now since the wedding's over with, we got a little more extra money to mess around with, stuff like that. So stuff like that don't really it don't bother me too much really. I don't trip about it.
Like eating cereal night anyway.
You know what I'm saying?
I would definitely agree. My wife is the same way. She definitely takes care of me, and she don't really miss an issue as far as 15 and 16 goes. I mean, she does her thing. And I feel as though with women and just hearing the things that you need to do, feel like you beat yourself up a little bit about it, you know. Either you take it to the stride and listen, oh, I don't need to do that. What has my man done for me anyway? There's those. And then there are those to where it's like, well, maybe I could have made steak instead of chicken. You know,
Either way, I ain't arguing.
Right. So it was just interesting to hear like your perspective on how you said that was a gut punch, and just to know that even though you have done a lot, people who know you can tell how sweet and how kind you are, and something that you have told me long ago. You know, your life has been put on some like a globe. Like a snow globe, kind of. Everyone is looking in and seeing everything that you guys are doing. So just for you and for people to see you, and this is how you are, and even still, you're like, okay, these are the things I need to work on. That should let everyone know, wives, husbands included, that we're not even perfect, and we're doing the best that we can each and every day. But we still got a lot to work on. So thank you for sharing that.
That's it. Anybody else got any more questions?
I think
Brother,
that's
you
it.
got any more questions?
No, I have no question. I like that. Yeah, I just definitely like that verse myself. I see it more so even in just the physical sense. And I like how they broke it down as in the night season, because we have that time when everything's just going on in the day. We are running non-stop pretty much throughout the whole time. And when I finally get to settle, and that nighttime comes, like, okay, here's where we can finally be with each other in that moment. So it may not be, okay, yeah, I'm hungry. I want to eat, you know, can you whip up something real quick? No, sometimes it's not that. I can make my own food.
Yeah.
You may be needing something else in that moment. Are you able to feed me in that way?
Yeah.
So if my mind is just drained, how are you able to bring that peace in?
Right.
You know, it can be something just to that degree. Like, okay, I'm really down. Are you able to kind of cheer me up in this moment?
Right.
It's just stuff like that, and that, you know, that's how I kind of was able to see that as well.
That's a good interpretation.
And that's what we talked about in the Bible study. I've tried to piece together the physical aspect of the solutions that were being talked about, but then also looking at the spiritual sense. But yeah, you know, can she prepare things in the night season, that food, but in the night seasons of your heart, can she make sure that she's prepping stuff as well, being a helpmeet? But what you mentioned before Kevin started talking about how, you know, she's being transparent about what she is and what she isn't, and how sharing with the folks we're not perfect, that is the whole point of making sure that you have a relationship with Jesus. And just for a short example, 2 weekends ago, Elric had done some things for us to help us out, and the reward for that was my wife has suggested we take him out to dinner. So because he has a wife, we told her, because of what he did, you get the reward as well. You didn't do anything, but because you're his wife, you get the reward. And so it is a small example of what we have with Christ. Well, because of what he did, if you claim him and he claims you, you get the reward. And that's how it's supposed to work.
Yep.
That is the benefit of it.
I think with that, I want to touch on the spiritual part of it, what you said. But I don't know if we feel like doing that another day, or if we want to continue that in this conversation.
How long have we going?
48.
48 minutes?
Okay.
We're actually kind of doing a lot better on time than I thought. I thought we was actually a lot longer.
Well, I think we can, I don't know.
I think we can probably save that, and you know, we change the format and get all the women down here, and we can do that and kind of talk about it collectively.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a plan to me, I guess.
You better make sure you have your ring.
Hey man, I'm gonna have it. Put the little please.
I guess quick side note then. Mom, how do you feel about your son-in-law
Oh my God!
not having his ring for your daughter?
Yes, good question.
Oh my God! Hey man, mind your business.
That's my mom too, man.
Hey! ain't about me.
Well, it was very hilarious.
Oh God.
But I appreciate it because this sincere young man right here, he loves her regardless. You know, that ring is the symbol, don't forget. But he has everything that fulfills that symbol. But it is a little funny when you don't have it. And I just was like, whoa, let me call my daughter.
Oh my
Like,
God.
she all right?
Oh my God. Like, I have really became a running joke, and it is ridiculous. Like, I'm pretty sure y'all don't even come to watch the full episode. Does Elmer got his ring this week?
Oh
Let's
my
see.
goodness.
Yeah, I know there's a few that probably do that.
Oh, he got it. Right.
Yeah, I'm about to turn it off now.
In
He
the
got a
comments,
ring.
he got
Right.
it.
He got it.
Just spoiler alert. He got it.
Right.
Well, I think that's it, ain't it? Yeah. For the most part.
Well, people, I want to thank y'all for taking a peek into the other Hall's life. I want to thank my wife for coming and being on the episode. Also, be on the lookout. We're going to figure out what this schedule is going to be like as the weather gets colder, and how many more we're going to do before we finally just kind of take a break and cap this season 1 and figure out, what we'll start doing for season 2. But yeah, be on the lookout. Please like, share, comment, subscribe to the God's House of Prayer page, and just keep supporting the podcast, the Sunday sermons, the Bible studies. Anytime that we provide any comment, we definitely appreciate you viewing and getting fed as we go along. But from this episode of Everyday People Married Men Edition, we thank y'all, and we look forward to seeing y'all next week. Y'all stay blessed. Take care. We'll see you soon.